minute. Why is it they're picking, though, on a small country like Mexico? Let me talk a little bit about economics for a minute. It's another reason. An American negative attitude from Mexico. We have put up with anchor bait. Anybody remember hearing that term? My mother was a Mexican citizen when I was born in this country. Fortunately, she was married to my father, who was born in this country. So I barely squeak by. I'm kind of a hybrid anchor bait. Now, if I were to go back to my country, folks, I'd have to go north from here, because the land grant of my forefathers, 26,650 acres, is now part of King Ranch. So I'd love for somebody to tell me, go back to where you came from. So I could tell them I'd be delighted to just tell the King Ranch to get the hell out of the way. So this tells us that some of this rhetoric you hear, is not founded, it's not well founded. There's problems with it. But what does it tell us? It's a political ecology that we live in. So isn't it best to deal with it politically? We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But first, why would we want to pick on Mexico when China is mentioned in a different light, but China takes a huge bite out of the American economy? But it's not mentioned anywhere near the same negative tone as Mexico is. I don't know why that is. Never got that answer yet. I don't think we're ever going to get it. But Mexico doesn't have the means to loan us money. China does. That may have something to do with it. To me, it appears like more of the same. That persisted just before the U.S.-Mexican War. An excuse to pick on a weaker neighbor. Strange how history repeats itself. Among many presidents in the United States, Ulysses Grant. Anybody read Ulysses Grant? Mm-hmm. He made a profound statement. In one of his writings, he stated that the greatest sanguinity, bloodshedding, this country has ever suffered was the Civil War. And he attested it to God's testament against this country for what it had done to Mexico. I couldn't believe that when I read it. This is way back. Then when I read it with him, I started looking at some of the other people of that era, leaders of that era, and many of them said the same thing. So they didn't even recognize that the United States had picked on a weaker nation. So it follows that our turn in this earth from being the governors of North Santander, the prolific settlers of the land, the division authorities for land grants, ended, died. Now, let's get back to why, just a moment, so we refresh it a little bit, why our younger generation doesn't see it this way. Folks, now the bigger problem we see from my standpoint is institutional. And let me talk about that for a minute. The institutional aspects that we see today, one good example is a recent conflict with the Texas Board of Education. Anybody know where I'm coming from? They had a book that they wanted to adopt that had some very disparaging remarks against Hispanics. They want to teach this to our younger children, to our younger generation. It just tickled me to no end to see the groundswell of disapproval that came up from very qualified Hispanics to oppose that idea. And they wanted to teach that to our generation. Fortunately, these people were extremely prolific and very professional. And they convinced the board to rethink that proposition. Now today, I don't know where it really stands because I lost track of it. I went on to something else. But I was extremely pleased to see that they had the wherewithal to put some common sense into that board. We cannot become aggressors. We cannot say, okay, it's our turn now, we got the majority of the population, we're going to do to you what you did to us. Is that right? No. Gosh, our society's grown, we're beyond that. So where are these people coming with that garbage? In a textbook. I didn't get into that fight only because I couldn't, I didn't have time. But what's the objective here? To turn us into Anglos, or simply make us think like one? Our birth certificates have been saying white for a long time. How many Hispanics in here feel like they're white? Good. Are you part white?
No, I consider myself a Visigoth.
The
Which
assimilated with the right generation. You bet. I have felt that
and
way.
I'm part Irish also.
Yeah, I have felt that way too, until I read the history, and then I realize where we're coming from. But there's a generation where we have to leave it behind at some point. That's what irks me about what I'm hearing in our political rhetoric at national level. You're 100% correct, sir, believe me. Now, why do they profess to teach our children how lazy the Hispanics were, how irresponsible, how we need to abandon our culture, our history? Now let me tell you something that I learned and found. You have no idea the impact that has been made by the wealth of oil and gas money in South Texas on the world, folks, not just the state, not just the nation, but on the world. So that influence remains today. Could it be that this is in the name of preserving the statute of limitations that protect the wrongs that they did to our forefathers and keep the wealth that was illegally seized here in South Texas for their own perpetual benefit, those that have control? Those are some profound statements that I'm sure would draw a lot of debate in most public settings. At my age, I'm far less concerned about getting criticized than I am of exposing the truth where it needs to be said. And that's long overdue. Let's talk about the truth. Many books, articles, magazines, and chronicle the story of our ancestors, the very people who settled South Texas, that suffered, died, bled to make this land productive before Anglos moved in. Now, our doors were open back then. Why? Because there was a common need for numbers. We're there again, folks, for a different reason. Back then we were facing what? Indians, very harsh ecology, ground that was very difficult to make productive. And so Anglos coming in and assisting in the settling of the ground would help in that sense quite a bit. So, but were they the ones that initially made the ground productive? No. It was our forefathers that did that. I have an Anglo columnist, it's a good friend of mine, newspaper columnist. And I gotta tell you this, it's kind of humorous. He once told me that if the Kings and the Kennedys, the Clayburgh, the Armstrongs, the Wales, and the McAllens, and many other names, had not seized the land and taken over the land they had, there would have been no economic benefit derived from that. And I asked him how he had arrived at that conclusion. He said, well, John, they had to drive the cattle all the way up to Kansas, later to Montana, to make things work. There simply weren't any markets like that here. And I kept laughing and looking at this guy and said, my dear friend, you're looking north. Do you diet. Do you really believe we were raised only on rice and beans alone? He started laughing. He's a good friend. He caught himself and started laughing. He said, John, I hadn't thought of it in that sense. But yes, I apologize. I can see how right after the Mexican-American War, crossing the border to sell anything might have been too easy. That's what I laid into him. I said, you guys were the ones that created that border. That was not a border when we were here. Our folks owned land on both sides of the border. And it was a friendship thing. It was always open. It was always helpful. It was always a unit, especially families. So, when you guys drew the line in the sand and you made it Rio Grande, it wasn't a border. That wasn't there before we were here. At that point, he stopped laughing, and I knew, he knew I was serious when I said it, even though I was smiling. And that brings me to some other institutional issues I'll cover real quick. And folks, I want to take your questions and answers, so I could sit here and bury you forever in this kind of information. I didn't know, by the way, that you would have had a screen available where I brought some visualizations of scenes and bodies and things that is what brought my heart into this thing. Today, to make a case against the state, Hispanic families are bound to the legal system that can literally drain every penny they own. It's enormously expensive. Did the state follow the same criteria when they took our land? What's the answer to that question? No. No. They did it administratively. They had a thing called the Borland-Miller Commission. Everybody familiar with that? If you're not, you may want to research it. But this commission handled all of the certification and confirmation of land titles. Many of our ancestors of that time did not trust the state. Can't you blame them? Now, perhaps with good reason. Supposedly, somewhere off the coast of Galveston, a boat that had taken off from Brownville with a bunch of these credentials and documents sank, losing all of these documents. Many of the original documents. Now, what shocked me is that that report can be confirmed in books published by the Texas Land Office. That's amazing. And I'll tell you in a minute how I tie this into that commission and what truly raised the hair on my back. Today, does Texas admit that many of our ancestral lands were taken illegally? Do they? Yeah. It too can be confirmed in books published by the Texas Land Office. But they believe that since they protected themselves with statutes of limitation, they won't ever have to answer for that. And that brings me to the point of our existence currently in 2016, where the Hispanic population has become the majority. And again, it's time to lay the groundwork for changing some of the institutional inequities, and it has to be done politically. Does the governor and lieutenant governor and state legislature recognize the wrong that Texas did to our ancestors when they illegally took their land? Folks, I'm giving you a big, huge, round case. Yes, they recognize that. It was recommended by House Bill 724, the Unclaimed Proceeds Commission, after hearing tons of testimony. A gentleman that I've become friends with since then, Mr. Benny Bach, was a member of the commission. After hearing all this deluge of complaints from Tejanos families who were connected to some of these land grants that were lost, they recognized, and why, let me break off just a minute, why the commission listed those, I don't know, because they didn't have the authority to handle that kind of testimony. And the way they handled it at the end is exactly that way. They said, look, we cannot handle this testimony because we've got a very narrow focus of authority that was granted to us for the disposition of unclaimed mineral funds. That's all. So, after hearing this ton of testimony, This one gentleman, Benny Blanc, recommended that a dedication and community system be set up to adjudicate these claims. It died with a 4-4 vote, so it never made it onto the recommendation from the state, main body. But the answer to that is yes, the Lieutenant Governor and everybody else, Governor, Speaker of the House, they all know it opened the doors for justice. And again, it's time to pursue that justice. I don't want to bury you with details on how to go about this, but I think it's a justice that needs to be wrung out, and there has to be some accountability for it by the state. Now, folks, let me be very specific about my feeling. I went on to Chilcotin Land and my land grant yesterday with the journalist. And you know, despite feeling something that moves you, stirs you, when you know that that's where your ancestors were, that was their land, there isn't really a motive to want to go back and move these institutions out of there and retake the ground. I don't see that as a practical thought. That's me. That's my opinion only. But do I see that as a reason or a beginning for the state to recognize that there may be some reparations made for the wrongs that they committed? I sure do. I think that's due. I think they need to admit it. And that's why I was so happy to see the groundswell disapproval for the book. Now, it is time for Hispanic organizations to seek ways to begin turning the status around, so that a reasonable means can be instituted to assist land grant families who lost their entire fortunes to Texas justice. Yes, I think so. I think the state has reached a demographic change in population, so now is the time for organizations like yours, ours, and everybody else's that has the interest of Spanish or Hispanic interest in mind to join forces, find some way to create some methods. And I'm going to talk about it in the next question. How can Hispanic organizations reach this objective? How about planning intra-organizational state conferences? Not where you want to bring all your membership together, just the committees, the people that oversee each organization. Have intra-state conferences and begin forming a nucleus so that all organizations can bring political action to bear when it's necessary. Again, we have to be balanced. So we have to adopt some method that's not going to rub anybody wrong, folks. We have to be balanced. We cannot go back and say it's our turn now, so we're going to treat you the same way you treated us. No. We have to be very clear about the fact that we're not going to do that. Our objective is simply to find justice within the means. Can we change the laws in Texas? Is it likely to happen now? No. Not hardly. We're going to have to get organized in voting majorities and then have some method to be able to speak as one voice. That was the objective of the alliance. There are cases today that need to be resolved. There are several different lawsuits that are ongoing. And from the history that I've studied, a lawsuit in Texas against the state, it's like going up against a stone wall, folks. And you cannot expect the state to react any differently. Their interest is going to be protected within the system. It isn't the quality of the testimony. It isn't the credibility of the evidence. It's the procedural aspects of the justice system that prevent the trials from actually being heard. Very few. Very few. If you go back and take a look at all the land cases that have been filed against the state of Texas,